Lonely Boy Finds Friend. Chapter 1, Kenzo the Lonely Boy. Kenzo was a 4-year-old boy who lived in a small house in the countryside. He had brown hair, rosy cheeks, and big brown eyes that shone with curiosity. Kenzo loved exploring the fields behind his house, but he was always alone. He didn't have any friends to play with, and he often felt lonely and sad. Kenzo's mother worked long hours to provide for them, so Kenzo spent most of his days by himself. He would play with his toys, read books, or stare out the window, watching the world go by. But no matter how much he tried to occupy himself, he always felt like something was missing. Kenzo longed for a friend, someone to play with and share his adventures with. He would imagine having a friend who would run with him through the fields, climb trees, and explore the countryside. But no matter how much he wished for a friend, none ever came. Kenzo began to think that something was wrong with him. Maybe he was too shy or too awkward to make friends. He felt like he was different from the other kids, and that no one would want to be his friend. Kenzo's loneliness began to consume him, and he felt more and more isolated from the world around him. But little did Kenzo know, a new friend was just around the corner, waiting to change his life forever. Chapter 2, The Abandoned Puppy. One day, while Kenzo was exploring the fields behind his house, he stumbled upon an abandoned puppy. The puppy was small, with big brown eyes and floppy ears. Kenzo was surprised to see the puppy all alone in the fields, and he felt sorry for it. The puppy looked up at Kenzo with big, pleading eyes, and Kenzo knew he had to do something. He picked up the puppy and held it in his arms, feeling its soft fur against his skin. The puppy snuggled up to Kenzo, and Kenzo felt a warmth in his heart that he had never felt before. Kenzo decided to take the puppy home with him. He knew his mother wouldn't be happy about it, but he couldn't leave the puppy all alone in the fields. Kenzo walked back to his house, cradling the puppy in his arms. He felt like he had found a treasure, something precious and valuable that he would cherish forever. When Kenzo's mother saw the puppy, she was surprised. She had never seen Kenzo so excited about anything before. But she knew how much Kenzo wanted a friend, and she could see the happiness in his eyes. She agreed to let Kenzo keep the puppy, and they named him Max. Kenzo felt like his life had changed in an instant. He had found a friend, someone who would never leave his side. Max became Kenzo's constant companion, following him wherever he went and wagging his tail with joy. Kenzo felt like he had a new lease on life, and he couldn't wait to see what adventures he and Max would have together. Chapter 3, Taking Care of the Puppy. Kenzo took on the responsibility of taking care of Max. He knew that having a pet was a big responsibility, but he was determined to take good care of Max. He made sure Max had plenty of food and water, and he even built him a cozy bed out of blankets and pillows. Kenzo's mother helped him take Max to the vet, where they got him checked up and vaccinated. Kenzo was fascinated by the vet's office, and he asked lots of questions about how to take care of Max. The vet gave him some tips on how to groom Max, feed him, and keep him healthy. Kenzo took Max for walks in the fields every day, and Max loved to run and play. They would chase each other around, roll in the grass, and explore the countryside. Kenzo felt like he was on top of the world, and he knew that Max was his best friend forever. Kenzo also learned how to train Max. He taught Max how to sit, stay, and come when called. Max was a quick learner, and he loved to please Kenzo. Kenzo felt proud of himself for being such a good trainer, and he knew that Max was the smartest puppy in the world. Taking care of Max was a lot of work, but Kenzo loved every minute of it. He felt like he had a purpose in life, something important that he was responsible for. Max became the center of Kenzo's world, and he couldn't imagine life without him. Chapter 4, Max and Kenzo's Friendship. Max quickly became Kenzo's best friend. They did everything together, from playing in the fields to cuddling on the couch. Max was always by Kenzo's side, wagging his tail and licking his face. Kenzo loved Max more than anything in the world, and he knew that Max loved him too. Kenzo and Max had a special bond, a friendship that was unbreakable. They would spend hours playing together, running around the fields and chasing each other. Kenzo would throw a ball, and Max would bring it back to him, panting and wagging his tail. Kenzo loved to cuddle with Max, feeling his soft fur against his skin. Max would curl up beside Kenzo, nuzzling his head against Kenzo's chest. Kenzo felt like he was in a warm, fuzzy cloud, surrounded by love and friendship. Max also helped Kenzo overcome his shyness. Kenzo had always been a quiet, introverted boy, but with Max by his side, he felt more confident. He would show Max off to his neighbors and friends, telling them all about how smart and funny he was. Max would bask in the attention, wagging his tail and licking everyone's faces. Kenzo felt like he had finally found his place in the world, and it was all thanks to Max. Max was more than just a pet. He was Kenzo's best friend, his loyal companion, and his partner in crime. Kenzo knew that he and Max would be together forever, no matter what. Chapter 5, Kenzo's friends come to play. One day, Kenzo's mother invited some of his classmates over to play. Kenzo was nervous because he didn't have any friends, but he was excited to show Max to the other children. When they arrived, Kenzo introduced Max to his friends, and they all fell in love with him. Kenzo's friends were amazed by Max's tricks and his friendly nature. They would pet him, play with him, and give him treats. Max loved the attention, and Kenzo loved having his friends over to play. For the first time in his life, Kenzo felt like he had a real group of friends. Kenzo's friends started coming over to play more often, and Max was always happy to see them. They would run around the fields, play hide and seek, and have picnics. Max would always be in the middle of the fun, barking and wagging his tail. Kenzo felt like he had finally found a place where he belonged. He had friends to play with, and he had Max by his side. He felt like he was part of a big, happy family, surrounded by love and laughter. Kenzo's mother was happy to see her son so happy. She knew that Max had changed Kenzo's life for the better, and she was grateful for the puppy's presence in their lives. She would watch Kenzo and Max playing together, and she would smile, knowing that they were meant to be together. Kenzo felt like he had everything he had ever wanted, and he knew that Max was the reason for his happiness. He knew that no matter what, Max would always be his best friend, and he would always be there to make him smile. Chapter 6, Playing with Friends and Max. Kenzo and his friends played together all afternoon, running around the fields and playing games. Max ran alongside them, barking and wagging his tail. Kenzo was so happy to have friends to play with, and Max was happy to have even more people to play with. They would play tag, kick a ball around, and have races. Max would join in the fun, trying to catch the ball or tag Kenzo's friends. Kenzo felt like he had a new sense of confidence, and he was no longer the shy, introverted boy he used to be. Kenzo's friends loved Max so much that they started to come over to play with him even when Kenzo wasn't around. They would feed him treats, play with him in the fields, and cuddle with him on the couch. Max had become a part of their lives, and they couldn't imagine a day without him. Kenzo felt proud of himself for rescuing Max. He knew that he had made a difference in Max's life, and he had given him a loving home. He felt like he had accomplished something important, something that would be remembered forever. Max had brought so much joy and happiness into Kenzo's life. He had taught him the value of friendship, kindness, and responsibility. Kenzo knew that he and Max would be best friends forever, no matter what. Chapter 7, Kenzo's Kindness. Kenzo's kindness had made a big difference in Max's life. Max had gone from being an abandoned puppy to having a loving home and lots of new friends. Kenzo felt proud of himself for rescuing Max, and he knew that he had made a difference in his life. Kenzo's kindness had also inspired his friends to be kind. They would bring treats for Max, play with him in the fields, and even help Kenzo take care of him. They learned that kindness could make a big difference in someone's life, even if it was just a small act of kindness. Kenzo also learned that kindness could make a big difference in his own life. By being kind to Max, he had gained a loyal companion and a best friend. By being kind to his friends, he had gained a group of friends who loved and cared for him. Kenzo realized that he didn't have to be alone anymore. He had Max by his side, and he had friends who cared for him. He felt like he was part of a big, happy family, surrounded by love and kindness. Kenzo's kindness had made a big impact on his life and the lives of those around him. He knew that he would always remember the lessons he had learned from Max and the importance of being kind to others. Max had taught him that even the smallest act of kindness could make a big difference in someone's life. Chapter 8, Kenzo's Happy Ending. From that day on, Kenzo was never lonely again. He had Max by his side, and he had made lots of new friends. Kenzo learned that kindness can lead to wonderful things, and that even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life. Kenzo and Max lived happily ever after, running and playing in the fields, with lots of new friends to join in the fun. Kenzo's mother was happy to see her son so happy, and she loved watching him and Max playing together. Kenzo's friends loved Max so much that they would ask to come over and play with him all the time. They would bring treats, toys, and games to play with. Kenzo felt like he had a whole community of people who cared for him and Max. Kenzo felt like he had everything he had ever wanted. He had a best friend in Max, a loving family, and a group of friends who cared for him. He felt like he had found his place in the world, and he was grateful for every moment of it. Kenzo knew that life could be tough sometimes, but with Max by his side and his friends to support him, he felt like he could face anything. He felt like he had grown into a strong, confident young boy, and he knew that he would always remember the lessons he had learned from Max. Kenzo's happy ending was just the beginning of a lifetime of happiness and friendship. He knew that no matter what, Max would always be his best friend, and he would always be there to make him smile.